So I wanted to make a video showing you my new little Suzuki Jimny 4x4. It's a car which is perfect for these roads. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. We are currently in the middle of a storm, so I suppose if there's any car which might be good for a storm, it's this little number here. These country back roads are where this car is in its element. I'm not, however, looking forward to getting on the motorways, which will see me next to big Arctic trucks and have me probably swing all over the shop. It's a 2021 Suzuki Jimny LCV, they call it, a 1.5 litre petrol engine. And the reason they call it as an LCV is it's a light goods vehicle. It's actually classed as a van. And the reason for that is in the UK, the Suzuki engine didn't quite meet the emissions standard, so they found a loophole in the system in this country whereby they can use this vehicle and this engine if they take out the rear seats, class it as a van, and therefore they can continue selling them. They're a very popular vehicle, but for that reason you don't see many of them on the road because they are just vans now. And if the earlier ones will have been on sale before they were deemed to not meet certain emission standards. So I've been up since 5 o'clock, as I say, fighting my way through this storm. I've had trains cancelled on me, I've had to get replacement bus services, which when you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't really know where you are, you're kind of thinking to yourself, am I doing the right thing here? Obviously I'd booked my train ticket in advance, but you just don't know that there's going to be a storm coming, do you? So, you know, you take a chance with these things. But eventually I picked up this about 20 minutes ago and I've got the camera straight on, so I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to start getting to know this car. My first impressions are that I absolutely love this almost vertical kind of windscreen, and the little windscreen wipers, they're kind of like dinky. It has a lot of bits on this car, a lot of bits which are not classed as standard. So in total it has about £7,000 worth of modifications, which I would have had to buy in any case because I think they are what makes the car. So to find one with all of the modifications already done, yeah, I know I like to do modifications on my cars, but you know, you win some, you lose some. It looks good. It was the right car, the right price at the right time, and I'll be using this over the winter months as kind of like a dog hauler, or just like a general day out car with my dog when I'm going down the countries. Now, one thing I'm noticing here, this is the fastest I've ever been in this, and I'm doing 55 miles an hour, 5th gear, definitely in 5th gear, yeah. So 50 mile an hour now, and we're 2,500 RPM. I'm sure we were at 3,000 RPM when I was at about 55. Sure if we can move this steering wheel up a bit, give me a bit of better access here. So we're doing 55 now. Oh, it's just under 3,000 RPM, probably 2,750, and you can hear the motor saying, "Whoa, slow down a bit. I'm not built for this kind of driving." And it's right. It's not built for motorway driving. It's not built for cruising on the freeway, as the Americans call it. It's just a nifty little car for the back country roads, and you can feel it kind of swaying around. But what I'll do is I'll stop and we'll have a look around the car, and I'll try and point out some of the modifications that it's got, because it's a great looking car, lovely looking thing. So I've had to film this part on a different day because it was just too stormy, too rainy, too windy, and I couldn't get anything across. So it's now a different day, but I'm going to show you a little bit of a walk around of the car, show you some of the modifications. I will be doing a more in-depth video on the modifications on this and how much they cost, so don't worry if there's anything I miss on this video. I will be doing it in another video. So I think the looks of the car, actually, it gives almost like a classic sort of vintage retro look, and they've done a really good job with making a modern car while making it still look extremely retro. You know, you won't see a curved line on this car. Everything on the car is like straight lines, and that's what I think is really quite appealing about it. It's so boxy, and I think a lot of people like that look. Now you can see the wheels and tires. These are like really chunky wheels and tires. These are 16-inch black all-terrain off-road tires, and these cost $2,320. We've got the light bar across the top there, so you can just see that bar there, which has 3 different modes. It's got like dim, medium, and really high. That is just over £1,000. We've got the spotlights on the front, which are quite big-ish and add more of a mean look. They're about £550. We've got the bull bar at the front, so you can just see this bar here going over the front bumper. That in itself is £370. Looks great though. When I was looking at these, actually, I thought to myself, no, I don't really want this. But when I saw it, I was like, actually, that looks really good. So yes, I'm pleased with that. We've got the side bars, like you can step on these, and these are £450 about. We've got under the bonnet, we've got a Forge Air intake. That is £350, which just adds a little bit of an induction sound when putting your foot down. And then if we come on the back, you see we've got the ladder here, and that in itself again is about £450. So all in all, it creates for a really good look at the car. But the car itself, the modifications on the car all add up to around about £7,000. As I say, I know I've only touched on some of the modifications here, but I will be doing a full-on modification video which goes through everything, how much everything cost, which I think makes this car really stand out and looks a lot different to the standard Jimnys. The standard Jimnys are cool, no doubt about it, but I think with these modifications it just adds that little extra edge, and it just makes it stand out that little bit more. It's really unique. $60 miles an hour, 3,000 RPM. There's another Jimny. Oh, he waved at me. So now I've got to start waving at Suzuki Jimny owners. This is the acceleration. Really struggling to get up this bank. $40 miles an hour, 2,500 RPM. Now the steering on it is actually quite light, considering I've got these big chunky tyres on. The 5-speed gearbox is really sort of easy to operate. I wouldn't say it's a short shift, but it's certainly not like a long throw, which is always good. Dials are well laid out. It's a basic car, it's a very basic car. The 1.5 litre engine is good for 101 brake horsepower, so it's not going to set any speed records or any acceleration records, but again it goes back to, it's not about that. This car doesn't care about speed records. Acceleration tests, Suzuki Jimnys don't care about that. And during this storm that we're currently in, I can feel the winds like a swaying the car from side to side. And that's probably why you see like me correcting the steering wheel, just making those slight corrections, just trying to make sure that the car doesn't veer off onto the other side of the road. So I'm losing a lot of light now, and I thought I'd give you my final thoughts on this video. We're currently cruising at, cruising 60 miles per hour. The car's at 3,000 RPM. The engine's screaming. I've had it up to about 65. And this car does not like going fast. It does not like going over 60 miles an hour, or 50 miles an hour probably. MPG, I'm probably averaging around about 35, 36 MPG. That's in treacherous conditions, so I would expect that to be a little bit better maybe on a long run if the weather conditions were a little bit fairer. It's not a sports car. It's not a car that's going to make you, you know, do laps around everybody else, or, you know, set any speed records, as I said earlier. But what it does, you know, you may have seen in the footage earlier, there's a car facing the wrong way on the motorway, so that's a dangerous sign. Audi TT. You know those cars with the hazard lights on, this just glides through those huge flooded roads with ease. I know other cars as well. Well, this is a charming little thing. This is good at what it does. It's good for pottering around maybe the city roads, the country roads, being a good dog car, and it has a lot of charm and it looks fantastic. So I'm really pleased. I'll be doing lots more in-depth videos on this car, like the modifications, and anything else that I can think of, things that I love, things that I hate about it, because I'm sure there will be some as I start to get to know the car. But please put a comment in the box below if you like these little Jimneys or if you hate them. They're sure to split opinion, but for me, I like them because they're so different, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.